Good morning, everybody. Thank you so much for being here. We are here with another interview with Coffee with the Collective with a beautiful gal this morning who I'm so excited to meet because I have heard lots about, and it's so nice to put a face to the name. Would love to introduce to the rest of the collective the beautiful Colleen Reid from Wild Welllness. Hi, Colleen. Welcome. Thanks so much for being here this morning.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Yes, oh my goodness, Colleen, we are just so excited. It's so nice to have a new to us face, but I'm sure some viewers in our community here know who you are and have had the privilege of working with you or been a part of one of your events. But for those of our viewers that don't know you, would you mind sharing with the group more specifically what Wild Welllness is and what has inspired you to offer this beautiful business of treatments and retreats?
Of course. So what inspired Wild Welllness? Really, it was my own journey, of course, for many of us that inspired it. But I understood the value of community and the transformation that often happens in the safe container that is this sacred circle space, because I had participated in many and had my own transformations there. And yeah, I came to this place where I really wanted to step into my own medicine shoes and hold this container myself. So I birthed Wild Welllness and started off with some just little evening circles and started to build that relationship with this circle space, and then developed that and grew that into what is now She is Wild Fest. I hold a festival every year in Boston Bar and continue to hold little circles throughout the month, cacao ceremonies, day-long retreats, and weekend retreats to really help women mostly, but there definitely are events where men and all bodies are welcome, to really help them to liberate themselves. Wild Welllness is all about breaking free of the restraints that society places on us. Those veils and facades that we wear to fit in, to play the should game, like I should be doing this, I should have this in my life if I'm supposed to be successful or be considered important or beautiful or whatever label you want to put on it, and breaking free of those stories so that we can really live a soul-guided life. Quoting Clarissa Pinkola Estes, it's like reclaiming that soul skin, that piece of ourself that truly is who we are, and offering ourselves to the world from that place.
Oh my goodness, that is so beautiful. I love that. And I love that, you offer that circle community also, because it's so interesting that sometimes that personal journey can feel like a lot, it can feel, I don't want to say daunting, but you're like, okay, here we go, right? We're diving in. But to know that you've got that sisterhood or that circle of beings that are, trudging through those life emotional trenches, just like you are. The stories are different, but, I think sometimes that end result or where we're going is similar, right? Where we want to peel off those layers and get back in touch with this being the center that we know is just not being nurtured in the way that we want it to. So I think it's so beautiful that you're offering that service to the community, and to have a festival too to celebrate that, right? Sometimes those evenings just aren't enough.
No.
There's nothing like being in the woods with 50 to 100 other women for 3 days. Magic happens. There's no other way around it, right?
That's awesome.
Incredible. That is incredible. What a beautiful, beautiful gathering. Oh my gosh, Colleen, that's so inspiring and so beautiful. So you have your events that are coming up, and then in terms of your circles that you're hosting currently, like what has is there like any specific like treatments that you offer for individuals, or is it really just holding space, or do you do one-on-one time also? What does that look like?
Yeah, absolutely. I do one-on-one time. So I'm currently taking a small break from it because I have a 2-month-old. So my days are full and my energy is spent on that little one, and just really practicing that, nurturing myself first before I can nurture the collective. But yes, so in the fall, I will come back into one-on-ones, offering those. And a one-on-one session with me looks like very ceremonial, very ritualistic. If it's in person, I often hold them in my lavu, which some might also recognize as a teepee. But the lavu is my heritage, the Scandinavian, Norwegian indigenous people.
Oh my gosh, that's beautiful.
The Sami people, have lavus, which look just like teepees, but it's my heritage. So I'm sort of claiming that piece.
Beautiful.
Wrap around back to one-on-ones. So a session with me is often we are diving into these stories, these narratives that are holding the individual in this place of feeling trapped or stuck, or whatever they're coming to me with. And we sort of unravel the story a little bit and get into the specificities of what is keeping them there. And then we intertwine some shamanic work into that. So for me, that looks like, it's called an illumination is often what I do. And I'm moving through the energy body to unwind these stories from your energy field, essentially. And it can be pretty potent, and often quite somatic release for people, like bodies are jolting, voices are coming out of their bodies, like they're letting go, like often. It's pretty potent. It's really it's really transformative. I've had it done to me several times from teachers, and it's definitely moved me far along my path.
Wow, that is such an incredible, it sounds intense, but like
it can be. I'm not gonna lie.
Intense in a way that we haven't allowed ourselves to experience before, right? Like you mentioned before, like I think of myself and it's like poised, like face on, like, showing up in a particular way. But when do we actually have the opportunity where we feel safe, where we can truly let go, and bring to voice or, through our body what's actually feeling on the inside and what's been like pushed down, buried, put aside, put in a container. I think that's really a beautiful gift that you're offering. And I love that you're really, honoring your heritage and your roots. And, was that also a part of your healing journey, was getting back into like where you came from and where your family came from?
Huge. Yeah, it's been a huge piece for me.
That's so awesome. And what a beautiful space you're creating. It's not easy to facilitate or hold space for that type of release for people. So good for you, because I hold space in the work that I do, and I hope that this safe space is created for that type of release, and it happens. But it's a challenging space to hold sometimes, and so good for you. I respect and honor that truly.
Thank you. Whenever people come into my circle or into my one-on-ones, I often tell them there's no weird in my space.
Yeah. Totally. That's a great, there's no weird in my
great starting point.
Everything is clear. Yeah.
Everything goes. And you're not going to shock me.
And I can see you too, like the weirder the better. You're like, yes. You could like see it. You're like, this is great.
I love that though. And what I love about that is that you normalize it, right? You make it
exactly, giving permission. Yeah.
And I find that with my clients also too, where it's like, like I do manicures and pedicures and waxing, and, sometimes I see like just, foot things or skin things, and people can be really embarrassed about that. And you're like, oh, like that thing, right? This is what we can do about it. Or, like it's empowering to normalize it, because you're not the only person. Like this is so bizarre that nobody's ever seen it before, right? Like we can work with this, and it's totally okay. And it's totally normal. And we don't need to be embarrassed or ashamed or any of those things. Like we ain't got time for those feelings and emotions, and let's just be together and celebrate and, focus on the purpose at hand, right? It's so interesting. I love that. Yeah. All weird welcome. It's perfect.
I love that. Yeah.
Thank you so much for sharing that, Colleen. I love that. And, it sounds like you are just all about community and bringing people together and because you have walked your own journey, like you really appreciate the importance of that, right? And, you know, holding space, whether that be a one-to-one session or holding that space, whether it be a larger circle and community, because you've needed that, you've been on the receiving end, and you know what that feels like and how important it is for the person who had the courage to show up. You know, and when I think of the Good Place Collective and what we're creating here, you know, we also want to be aware of that community, and we want to be really pro collaboration, where all are welcome. So when you think of a collaborative environment, like what does that mean to you if you were to identify or explain what collaboration means to you?
Yeah, for me, collaboration goes hand in hand with co-creation. So again, back into my spaces, I feel like they are co-created all the time, whether it's the She's Wild Fest or my smaller circles. It really takes all the bodies in that space to create that evening or that weekend. And to me, it really means that there's no one person in that space that is more important than the next, and everybody's voices deserves to be heard and considered in that space. So yeah, it takes the input from each individual and the openness of each individual to really make that experience the most potent that it can be, and for everybody to get the most out of it.
That's so beautiful. I love that. I love the co-creation. The collaboration is the co-creation. That's so beautiful. And every part and piece, every part and parcel contributes to that. Oh my gosh, I love it. And so we also often talk about inclusivity, right? You had shared that, you know, everyone's voice is important. You know, so how do you go about, you know, bringing inclusivity into your practice, and why is that important for you?
So in most of my events, inclusivity to me means that nobody's left out. It doesn't matter what your religious background is, what your cultural background is, your heritage, how you identify as an individual, that all are welcome. So in my spaces, and I don't always put this on my posts, but it is always there, is that all bodies are welcome. So I say wild woman or she is wild, but I've spoke this to many people, is that I'm welcoming anybody who wants to discover more or experience more about their feminine nature. So it doesn't matter who you are, everybody has a feminine side, right? So for me, that's how I practice inclusivity, is that all bodies are welcome, and it doesn't matter who you are, what your background is. But if you want to discover more about that wild feminine nature within yourself, that come and discover and explore and see what happens for you in that space. But yeah, it's really about everybody is on an equal playing field. Again, like it doesn't matter what your background is. We are all in this together. And it's like being colorblind and religion blind. That's not really a word.
Totally. No, I like that. And I love what you said too, because, you know, when you had shared with us previously, you know, you had talked about, you know, you're hosting this event, but you're, you know, an equal part of that, as much as everyone that chooses to show up. And what I loved is, you know, that you said that, you know, we open up to our vulnerabilities and personal power. And I think when we are sitting in a space where everyone is equal and equally included and no one is left out, we can open up to our vulnerabilities and personal power in ways that maybe we haven't had the safety to do before. And it also gives others permission. You know, a big part of my work and my training was we did sharing circles every single day of my training. And it was the same thing, like coming together in a circle. And it was like, you know, the days where people were maybe resisting it, everyone else resisted. But the days where everyone let go and opened up, then everyone, it was like we didn't have enough time for people to like open up. And it's like really incredible to see that powerful effect of the collaborative circle, that when, you know, because when someone is willing to go to those places, or, you know, you then, you know, yes, you're sharing and you're being witnessed and that space is being held, and you're also giving permission to do the same. And I think there's something really powerful to that. I always say, you know, with my clients in my sessions is, you know, my clients will only go where I'm willing to go to. And so it's such a great, and so it's, you know, even one-on-one creates that collective, collaborative opportunity. And so sometimes, you get frustrated, like, why won't the client go there? And it's like, oh, maybe because you wouldn't go there. And it's just really, I love that way of like communal thinking, that it's like, okay, because it's always about permission and what we're willing to hold space for. And so the deeper we're willing to go, the deeper others are willing to go. And I just think it's so beautiful that you're, very regularly creating these spaces for that to happen. It's kind of like, I don't know, advanced evolution. That's probably not the right word, but it's what it kind of feels like to me, because it's really special. And I've been there, and I just really, all the power to you for doing that.
Thanks.
Beautiful.
Yeah, I feel like it's important work.
Really, it is. Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah.
Oh, great. Colleen, you it's just been like fabulous getting to know you. Like I said, I've heard a little bit about you before, and to get to know you in this way is really special. Love what you're doing. Love that you're here and part of our community. While we have just a little bit of time left here, could you share with everybody the best place that they could reach you if they feel inspired to reach out or to learn more about your festival or upcoming retreats?
Yeah, absolutely. So on Facebook or Instagram, you'll find me at Wild Welllness, and you can message me there, or you can email me at wildwellness.live@gmail.com. But if you want to work with me coming up, like I said, I'm taking a break from one-on-ones, but and She's Wild Fest is sold out, unfortunately. Unfortunate for me.
Fantastic news. I'm totally bummed, but happy for you.
But I do have a retreat coming up in April. So it's Easter long weekend in April 2022. It's at an amazing space called Springbrook Retreat Center, and it's an all-inclusive event. So your bed and your delicious gourmet meals are all provided for you. And it's going to be a really potent event called a Wild Feminine Earth Medicine. And it's a mystery school retreat. So we're doing some energy work and really diving into this wild feminine archetype, and using earth ceremonies and ritual and sacred play and expressive arts and dance and all these modalities to really dive into this archetype of the wild feminine and explore our inner goddess nature and really release her so that we can walk back into our daily lives holding her in our body vessel and letting the world see her for who she really is.
So awesome.
Yeah.
Beautiful. And so if somebody's interested in that retreat, like, do they just reach out to you in Wild Welllness, or is there a different spot for them to sign up and go, yes, please?
Yeah, you would find it on the event site on Wild Welllness, or you could just Google, type into the Facebook search bar, Wild Feminine Earth Medicine, and it will come up there as well.
Perfect.
Yeah. And if you're watching this interview, you get $100 off. You just type in interview into the code bar in the Eventbrite page, and you'll get $100 off your ticket.
Thank you so much. That's such a beautiful offering. That's so
I'll put it in the comments below.
Please do. Absolutely. When we post it, you can absolutely do that. What a beautiful. Thank you so much. Thank you everybody for taking the time to watch this interview with the beautiful Colleen. So beautiful. So lovely to get to know you. Thanks everybody. And we'll see you next time. Thanks a lot.
Thanks.
See you.
Bye.